I'm Christina, 28. Standing in the grand ballroom of Rosewood Manor, I watch as my parents and sisters' carefully laid plans crumble before my eyes. The guests are whispering, the champagne tower stands untouched, and the five-tier cake remains uncut. It's a far cry from the perfect combined celebration they'd envisioned. But this is the culmination of a long, fought battle for my freedom. 5 years ago, my life took a turn when my younger sister, Lily, announced her engagement to Ryan. Lily has always been the center of attention in our family. Our parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, are overly indulgent towards her. Dad, a proud but somewhat irrational man, believes that family should always come first, even at the expense of others. Mom, on the other hand, is manipulative, always finding ways to make me feel guilty for not doing enough for Lily. When Ryan lost his job, Dad called me into his study. "Christina, your sister needs our help." "Family comes first," he said, placing a heavy hand on my shoulder. Mom stood in the doorway, arms crossed, giving me that look that said I had no choice. I was only 23 then, with big dreams of going to business school. But I handed over my entire savings of $15,000, my education fund. Mom assured me it was just temporary, that I could always go back to school. But 3 semesters later, I was still working 2 jobs, while Lily danced at her reception in an expensive dress. That night, I promised myself never again. Fast forward to now. Mom invited us for dinner, claiming it was just a casual family gathering. But I knew better. The table was set with the finest china, and Lily and Ryan arrived 15 minutes late as usual. Once we were seated, Mom announced their brilliant idea to combine my wedding with Lily and Ryan's 5th anniversary celebration. Lily pulled out a color-coded folder full of her detailed plans. I felt my fiancé, Ethan's, hand find mine under the table. Instead of my usual automatic yes, I said, "Let me think about it." The silence that followed was deafening. Dad tried to convince me that I'd handle the finances, and Lily even shed some fake tears. But I held my ground, though I knew the battle had just begun. That night, I decided to snoop around in Dad's study. I scrolled through Mom's emails and found a chain with the subject "Vendor Payments, Christina." My heart sank as I read that they'd assured everyone I'd cover all the expenses. A notification on Mom's tablet showed that Lily had used my credit card to buy a wedding dress that matched her vision. And when I checked my banking app, I realized that the so-called deposits last month were actually withdrawals for wedding expenses. I confided in Ethan and my friend, Ava, who works in event planning. Ava was outraged and said it was financial abuse. Ethan's sister, Mia, also visited and explained that Mom was enabling Lily's behavior. Lily started threatening me, reminding me of how she'd helped me get my marketing job. Dad mentioned the house down payment they might help with if the wedding went smoothly, and Mom casually brought up Grandma's heart problems. But I made my first strategic move. I told them I'd be the one to sign the venue contract. At my apartment, I canceled the fraudulent dress order and changed my financial passwords. Lily called immediately, calling me ridiculous. I endured her barbs, knowing I was playing a long game. The next morning, I saw Mom's Facebook post announcing the combined celebration. When I asked her to take it down, she laughed, saying it was too late. 3 days later, at the bridal boutique, Lily deliberately spilled champagne on my chosen dress. I was devastated, but Ethan and I decided it was time to go to Plan B. At Rosewood Manor, when the venue manager presented the contract, I insisted that both Ethan and I needed to sign. I showed them the printouts of unauthorized credit card charges. Dad was shocked, and Lily was furious. I told them I'd cover a $6,000 deposit, but the remaining $57,000 was their responsibility. Ava found a small chapel by the lake for our real ceremony, and Ethan's parents offered their lake house for the reception. We created an escape plan, with Ava mapping out every detail. The night before the wedding, Lily came to my apartment, demanding payment confirmation. I calmly told her everything was taken care of. On the wedding day, I sent staged texts and photos to keep them distracted. At noon, Ava returned from the country club, laughing at how the family's plan was falling apart. Meanwhile, at the lake, Ethan and I got married surrounded by our closest friends. After the ceremony, we received a voice message from Mom saying the venue needed the remaining payment and Dad had to give them his retirement account information. Ethan raised his glass to me, saying I taught my family a valuable lesson. The morning after the wedding, Mom, Dad, and Lily showed up at my door, angry and desperate. I presented them with evidence of their actions, including recordings, bank statements, and screenshots. Violet's husband, Ryan, even questioned her about what she'd done to me 5 years ago. The family dynamic cracked, and Mom and Dad started to blame each other. I told them to leave, saying the $63,000 was their investment in my freedom. A year later, the scent of roasting turkey filled our new home. Lily came to apologize, saying she'd started therapy because Ryan threatened divorce. She admitted it was hard but necessary. Mom also started to see her enabling behavior and asked if she could call me. As I look at the framed $6,000 venue deposit receipt in the shadow box Ethan gave me for our anniversary, I know that the price of freedom was worth every penny. I've learned that setting boundaries is the foundation of healthy relationships, and I'm finally free to be myself.